Remember the 5th of November, that gunpowder, treason, and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Hi there. Welcome, everybody, to Cast Iron Wednesday. This is a tradition that quite a few YouTube cooking channels have been doing lately, and especially over the past several years or so. A number of the smaller channels have been regularly doing a cast iron video on Wednesday. I do understand that at least for the last couple of months, a couple of other channels here from the people in this room have indeed been doing a cast iron Wednesday, and I hope I'm not interrupting them by doing this one tonight, because I do realize, yes, it's been a couple of months, and I can only apologize for my absence. I guess I can only say, well, just the truth, namely that I've been very, very busy in my personal life, some of it good, some of it not so good, and it has taken much more time away from my online hobbies than I would have liked. But I'm hoping that things have improved, especially over the past few days or so, when I have not only been cleaning up really my home from top to bottom as best as I can. I've also been doing everything I can to pretty much rebuild my collection and to get it into a working order again. And I can only thank everybody who's been kind enough to show up here tonight, especially after the last couple of months or so. So yeah, back like a heart attack. Yes, that's one way to put it for M. Morris family. Hello to everybody, as always, who has been kind enough to show up here tonight. Hello to Rick Stumbow, and hello to Rick Stumbow, and Rick Stumbow, and Rick Stumbow, and hello to Clico and Flash 1499, and hello to Hippie Longshanks and William Hurt. Life is what happens when you're making other plans. Yeah, that is certainly the case. I won't deny that. Hello as well to Homestead Aquarius, and I don't believe I've seen your name before, so thank you very much, and welcome to this YouTube channel. And yes, things are okay, at least on my end. I mean, I was never in any life-threatening situation. I didn't lose my job or my home or anything like that, but, well, things happen. And among some of the other things that have happened is that despite the things that have been happening, I have still been on the hunt, unfortunately, for cast iron. And you've probably seen some of the results of my hunting over the summer, in that while I am not an obsessive collector anymore, like some folks who seem, you know how we see, especially on the Facebook group, some people who said, we had a good day of hauling iron today, and he pulls up this truckload of like about 30 or 40 new cast iron skillets. Now, I'm not quite like that, I'm afraid. I'm still not a hoarder, despite the collection that you see all around you here. And in fact, one of the things I need to do, again, is start rotating through my collection to make sure everything is good and refreshed. And that is really starting probably tomorrow. I have plans for maybe tomorrow evening, actually getting the annual cast iron garbage cookie together, because after all, last week was Halloween, and yeah, there is some leftover candy. But yeah, doing great, Frank. Hope you are as well. Welcome, Homestead. Yes, exactly. But well, okay. Well, Homestead Aquarius, especially, for you, for any new folks who might show up, this is actually the first Cast Iron Wednesday of the month, and we've had something of a tradition here of doing a cast iron Q&A session, really, to kind of like get stuff off our chests, ask and answer questions about cast iron, and really see what we can do to have some fun talking about these collections that we have amassed over the course of our lives. For some of us, for me, for about the past 15 years or so. I mean, feel free really to ask questions about any of the cast iron pans you see before you, or any other ones you know of in my collection. Feel free to ask questions about your own cast iron pans. Like maybe you need some help with identification, or there are the eternal questions that everybody asks, like, how do I keep my pan from sticking when I cook with it? Or what's the best oil to season my pans with? Or what kind of pan is this? I inherited something from my great grandmother. Do you think you might be able to help identify it? Those are some of the things that everybody always asks, and those are questions that we do indeed love answering here and just about anywhere. Did you find a fish fryer? Asks Corey Clark, for instance. Oh, I guess you mean this one, the one that I actually unboxed yesterday. And yes, I did. This one here, in fact, is a Birmingham Stove and Range Sportsman fish fryer. And this one is the second generation, the one that they produced anywhere from the 1960s through the 1970s or so, after they had made the switch over to automated production. And the main reason why we can age this roughly like that is because of these little thin, little round handles here. They usually call them rope handles in the collector community, which is when they went for automated production in the 1960s, they redesigned a whole lot of their cast iron line, and the Sportsman fryer was one of them. Up until the 1960s, this shallow fish fryer had a rectangular or square handle with corners. And I do have one of those as well. I have to say that other one, the older one, is currently in the lye tank. It's been soaking in the lye tank for about a month or so, because some of my pans, I found the seasoning has been really starting to crumble or flake off. And so I figured it would be a good time to do some reseasoning on that. But this one here is actually meant as a gift for a person close to me who has just moved into her new home. And it's kind of like a housewarming present, but also because she happens to have a gas stove. One that, I'm jealous of. It's a very nice looking gas stove, and it's one of those ones that not only has 4 burners on the top, it also has a center burner, an elongated oval shaped burner. And so that was my main reason for getting this, because I figure that once this one here is cleaned up, it is going to fit just fine over that center oval burner there on her stove. So I have no doubt whatsoever that she's going to get a lot of use out of it. I was kind of hoping that the person I got this from on eBay would have cleaned this up, but it doesn't look like it. I mean, there's some sticky. Let's put it on this side here. There. Oh dear, that looks like there's some spotting on this on my camera as well. So hopefully, maybe that'll help a little bit. Is there a dark spot? Ooh, I might even have to clean that up. But anyway, there's some sticky residue here in one corner of this. And on the underside as well, you can see a couple of spots of rust. That's nothing too serious. What that means is that pretty much tomorrow, I'm going to dump this one in the lye tank for a few days, so that along with all of the other ones in the lye tank, I will be able to clean it, get this cleaned up and season it in working condition. Also, like most of the Sportsman fryers of this series, it has the number, as you can see, 3052, which again was the standard part number for this particular piece. And I can also say this shallow oval fryer is a massively useful piece of cast iron, because what it really is, it's really essentially a griddle. No, I'm wrong. It's essentially a skillet. It's the same as a round cast iron skillet, except that it's oval shaped. It's wide enough and long enough that you can put it over 2 burners of your stove instead of just one. And especially with these low walls here, you could do everything on this that you can do with a cast iron skillet, except more of it. So imagine making a whole bunch of baked mac and cheese in this, for instance. So yes, I mean, anybody who has one of these pans, I have no doubt whatsoever, you're getting a massive amount of use out of this. So you did mention that, yes, I did manage to acquire a fish fryer. This is one of the several items that I did manage to find, lucky me, in the cast iron hunt here. Hello, Radagast as well. And hello to, William Hurt. Scratched my nose for me there. Okay, how much did that bad boy put you back, CIC? Well, I admit I spent more than I usually do for a cast iron pan for this one. I ended up paying $75. So, which I thought wasn't too bad a deal for eBay. And the reason why I paid that much was because, again, I wanted to get this right away. I guess that's the thing about eBay, or really about the other cast iron vendors. You know, the ones that are always selling their pans at extremely high prices. Well, part of it is, in this case, I actually had a need to get a pan like this on a very short notice. So I wasn't able to spend like 6 months or so combing through all of the antique malls and yard sales and everything in my neighborhood, and happened to come across it for less than that. So, especially because it's a present, I decided to actually take the plunge and get this for $75. These days in the vintage market, I don't think that's too bad of a price for a shallow fish fryer pan, actually. So yeah, it looks like $100. You did good. They go for $100. Yes, I have seen them selling for $100 and more on eBay. That is indeed certainly true. So yeah, it's actually made for the Sportsman grill. You're exactly right about that. This was an accessory for the Sportsman grill that they produced for decades, and then Lodge produced for decades more, until Lodge discontinued it and redesigned the Sportsman grill for their new Sportsman grill. My understanding is the new Sportsman grill does still fit this pan, though. So, okay, yeah, they go for $100. So, okay, so I hope that answers that question. And yes, makes a great pizza pan. Yes, it does. I have made pizzas in my oval fryer here. I have also made sheet cakes in my oval fryer. Not to mention, as I mentioned, huge amounts of mac and cheese. And of course, this is a really good roasting pan too. You can roast quite a few chicken pieces in this pan all at the same time. So again, this is definitely massively useful. Not to mention, of course, you doing things like making pancakes. So if you're lucky enough to inherit one of these, in fact, from family, do be sure to get a whole lot of use out of that. Pardon me. And let me see if I've missed anything in the comments so far. Try your Lodge lid on it. That's a good point. Since this is a second generation, let's do that. Because, yeah, I do indeed have the Lodge deep fryer here. And here is the lid, in fact, for the Lodge fryer. So that's a good question. Let me see if I can put this in so that you can see what's going on. Gee, I'm going to have to take this thing and put it aside. Whatever would that other thing be? Well, I guess we'll have to talk about that a little later. But there, right about here. Okay, let's see what happens. Guess what? It's a perfect fit. Well, okay, it moves very, very slightly, I notice. However, it fits very, very nicely. So there you go. Yes, as you can see, the Sportsman, the cover fits this thing really, really good. And in fact, I mean, you could definitely make a whole lot of, you could cover it and do a lot of braising and other kinds of roasting with this. So yeah, you're exactly right about that. It's a keeper now. Well, unfortunately, it's not a keeper. It is going to be a gift. I mean, I'm not going to go back on my word for that. So even though the lid fits this one and it does not fit the older Red Mountain one, I'm still going to give this newer one away. Newer, I'm saying. This one is still anywhere between 50 and 60 years old, so this is hardly new anymore. And let's put this lid back meanwhile. There we go. The Lodge lid, okay, that's interesting. That lid fits much better on the Lodge pan, and so that makes me think that this particular one here is about. I mean, it's the same diameter, I guess, as the Lodge roaster because that lid did fit. However, this one here must be maybe about a fraction of an inch, a very small fraction of an inch longer than the Lodge lid, than the Lodge fryer. I mean, because it actually moved back and forth a little bit, even though the cover did fit very nicely. So I don't know, maybe that might even be another way to tell the difference between BS&R and Lodge. I have an Asian lid that almost fits my third generation shallow fish pan, close enough to use. Well, congratulations to that, Rocket Caver. I'm guessing that might be one of those ones that they made on for Cabela's, for instance. When they were making Cabela's cast iron, they were doing an oval roaster that looked just about the same size as the Lodge and the BS&R deep fryer. So that's something. Corey Clark, my BS&R lids fit the same way, kind of loose. Well, there is that, but it is good enough to cook with. So, I mean, we don't need an airtight seal when we cook. So it certainly works good enough. Do you have a number 20 hotel skillet? Hello, Thomas Magnani, I guess it is. I do not. I have never been fortunate enough to find one of those at a price that I could afford. I have seen those hotel skillets at places like the Brimfield Antique Show, selling for incredible prices that I would never be able to afford. So I have not been lucky enough to come across a number 20 skillet in the wild. So if I came across one at a price that I could afford, well, I'd be tempted. That's for sure. Okay. Is it like 2K? Oh, yeah. I don't think I saw that it's selling for 2K, $2,000 in the field, in the wild, but I don't remember the exact price. I would not be surprised if I saw it selling for about $1,000 if at the Brimfield Antique Show. But that is entirely, of course, to be expected. It's pretty much the same, really, at any major and with any major antique vendor these days, where they do seem to have these incredible pieces, always selling at incredible prices. But that's one of the reasons why I like going to places like the Brimfield Antique Show, just to be able to look at that incredible cast iron. Even though I may never be able to afford it, it's nice to be able to look at it and actually touch it with your own hand. Ooh, I touched it. But yes, yeah, that's definitely a sign of cast ironitis. I'll have to say that as well. Hello, Rich Qualls, watching from Southern California. I hope things are doing okay down there in Southern California. Rocket Cave, no, we said that one part there. Okay, so anyway, yeah, that's the story there of this particular BS&R Sportsman fish fryer. As I said, I'm going to dunk this one into the lye tank. Okay, I guess I better mention my lye tank as well. Over these last few months, because I've been so busy and haven't had a chance to do any real cooking or any real work, my lye tank has slowly been filling up. On one hand, I've taken some of my pieces and put them in the lye tank so that I can strip them and start over with the seasoning, including good old Stumpy. You may remember, in fact, a few months ago, I put Stumpy in the lye tank, and he is still there in the lye tank. So by the time he comes out, he is definitely going to be completely stripped. He's going to be naked. And I'm going to start seasoning old Stumpy all over again. Let me see. Looking over my collection, I'm trying to remember which other pieces. I did say already, I put the BS&R, the Red Mountain fish fryer, that is. I put that one in that tank as well. Another one I put in there was the number 10 Griswold. All of those had really, the seasoning on those was definitely beginning to flake off. And I figured it was time to really strip them down and start over with the seasoning. And I fully intend to do that next week because fortunately, next week is my last week of vacation from work. Nothing really special other than that, I mean, of course, I had work, I had vacation time at work that I needed to use. And they kind of discourage you from taking your vacation during the holidays for obvious reasons. So next week is a good reason as any. And I'll be able to get a lot of cast iron cleaning and seasoning done at that time. Also, at that time, I'll be able to finally take out some pieces that I did find over the course of the summer. Most of which are not. I mean, really, it's like I can't think of anything extremely incredible that I actually found, except for one piece, I think. But most of them are just, let me see, a couple of unknown pieces I found on the Route 90 highway yard sale. A couple of pieces I got for a good bargain at my local flea market. For one of them, one member of my family, my new family, I guess you could say, I actually found a BS&R skillet that I will be restoring and giving to him as a housewarming present next week. So I think he'll like that. Let me see. Going over my collection here. Yeah, I can't think of anything major that I put in the live tank, but there are a number of pieces that I will be pulling out and really reseasoning. So, and I'm certainly looking forward to that. When you roast chicken or turkey in the huge fish pan, does it splatter all over the place and make a mess? The fish pan, it might, because as big as that fish pan is, it's not really quite wide enough to handle a huge turkey. I mean, you can put a turkey in it, but I think you are going to get some overlap. So if you use something like the large fish fryer pan, which I just reseasoned yesterday. I mean, this is definitely long enough to take a turkey, but it may not be wide enough as much as you'd like. So if you're going to use something like this, you might actually want to put down a layer of aluminum foil over the rack in your oven before you put this in so that it will catch any splatter or any dripping. And that's another reason why I'm determined to get old Stumpy out of the lye tank and get him reseasoned, because he is my number 14 size round cast iron skillet. And I will say again, good old Stumpy is the world's greatest turkey roasting pan. He's also the world's greatest pizza pan, the world's greatest giant cookie pan. But I mean, especially here during the holidays, he is the world's greatest roasting pan. I'm starting to see commercials now, of course, on my feed for the made-in turkey roasting pan, because naturally we're getting close to Thanksgiving and all that. But when you've got yourself a huge cast iron pan that can fit a turkey, you don't need one of those things. I mean, as nice as they are, and if anybody has one of those turkey roasting pans, the one with that skillet, with that rack that's shaped like a rib cage that you rest the turkey on. I mean, it does a good job cooking the turkey, yes. However, does anybody use that pan more than once a year? I mean, really, do you use that thing for anything other than cooking your Thanksgiving turkey? Whereas, on the other hand, I've gotten a huge amount of use out of good old Stumpy. I can use him anytime in all of the year. So definitely, there are many reasons why I still encourage everybody that if you have a chance to get a huge cast iron pan like old Stumpy, go ahead and do so. If you have that large fish fryer, go ahead and use it. Even though I've just kind of I might have discouraged someone from using it to make their turkey because, like I said, it may not be wide enough for a turkey. I would still say go ahead and use it because you will get a great turkey from it. You might just simply have to lay down a layer of aluminum foil over the rack on your oven as well. Have you ever used copper diffusers to cook with a very large skillet indoors? Not yet. I have not had the opportunity to do so. It's one of those things that I suppose I really should look into getting one of these days. There are some other channels out there, and I'm not going to name them, that seem to have every fancy cast iron gadget out there. And yeah, I am jealous of some of the toys that they get to play with, including those copper diffusers, because they look like they do a really good job. But I have not had a chance to use one myself, I'm afraid. So I just learned something new there. Yeah, thanks, Thomas. Okay, there are solid copper. Oh yeah, they are solid copper plates that eliminate hot spots and extend the heat zones of your burners. Yes, they are. Heat diffusers can be really useful like that. I was so excited, and it wouldn't fit in the oven with the lid on. The copper diffusers are amazing. I use it all the time, also for my Dutch ovens. You know, it just occurred to me at this very moment. I just said I'm going to restore a BS&R skillet as a housewarming present for another member of my family. I guess he's like my goddaughter's brother, so he's not really my godson because he's never been designated my godson. But we're kind of God related that way. However, the new apartment that they moved into, I've got two families, well, members of the same family, but they moved into two apartments. One has that really great stove with a burner that I'm jealous of. The other one, they have a glass top stove. And there's really nothing wrong with using a glass top stove. But as far as using a glass top stove with cast iron, there are some limitations, and it just occurred to me that glass top stove, the BS&R skillet that I was planning to restore, has a heat ring. And while it will work on a glass top stove, I'm not sure it's going to work as well as it should. I think I'm going to have to change my plans very quickly. I do believe in the lye tank somewhere in there is a flat bottom skillet that I should be able to use to successfully, to present to him as present. Actually, let me see here. This is my giveaway pile. What do I have here? No, I can't give this one away. This one is also has a heat ring, but this is my fire-damaged Wagner skillet. I acquired this a couple of years ago. This one is seriously fire damaged, and I really keep it more as an example of fire damage more than anything else. It's actually very, very slightly like it's been bent in the middle. That's how badly it's warped, and it absolutely cannot be seasoned. So, no, this is not one that I can give him. However, hey, here's one right now in my giveaway pile. Maybe I'll be able to give this one to him for that flat bottom stove. I think I got to clean this up. It's a little dusty. A Wagner square skillet. Yeah, I think this might work. Okay, there's a plan coming into place, I think. Looks like I just need to freshen this up a little bit, clean it off, and then give it maybe an extra coating and seasoning. But yeah, there we go. Okay, so new housewarming present for my goddaughter's brother. Sorry. So it only just came to mind as I was talking right now. I hope you folks didn't mind me rambling on like this. But I think that's a new plan. Okay. Corey Clark, I use a number 14 skillet for my turkey. Yes, exactly. That's my point. That's why I was rambling on about good old Stumpy. I think that 14 skillet is probably the best cast iron roasting pan that you can think of. I was so excited for and it wouldn't fit in the oven with the lid on. Oh, are you talking about a hotel skillet, war in Ukraine, one of those number 20 size skillets? Yeah, I've heard of that. Those number 20 skillets are so big, they might not even fit in your oven. And that's something I would really need to consider if I were to come across one of those at an affordable price. Granted, you could put it on top of the oven. You could take it camping. Well, I mean, I realize it's a rare item. You might not want to take it camping. But you could put it on top of the oven. You could put it on the grill. However, I agree that not being able to put it in the oven would be a real handicap for that. Copper diffusers are amazing. I use it all the time also for my Dutch oven. The no direct contact would indeed be an issue. I use a fire ring 3-notch lodge on my glass stove all the time. Works great. Well, I'm glad to hear that actually, Jerry 1952. And I actually do hear that from other people as well. One thing though is that my family members who have moved into the apartment with the glass stove, they're not serious cooks. In fact, here's a little secret. I don't like talking about people when they're not here. I said this before, but these particular people, this is their first time moving out of the house, and they're actually living on their own for the first time. They are like about 19, 20, 21 years of age, and they have just left home and they've moved into their own apartment with the glass stove. And while they did grow up with their mom doing a lot of cooking, in fact, their mom doing almost all the cooking, they can do some basic cooking. But right now, mostly until they moved in on their own, they're the type of, they're the generation of people who live almost entirely on takeout, always ordering takeout pizza and McDonald's and Chinese and Hot Pockets and all of that. So I realize, though, that once they live on their own and they realize that, that's going to put a big strain on their budget, I have no doubt they're going to be doing a lot more cooking. However, they're not at the point where they're obsessed with cooking. Maybe they will become that way, but they're not like that right now. So that glass stove will probably work just fine. And for that reason, I mean, even though you just said your 3-notch lodge with the heat ring will work fine, I'm wondering still if I should really give them that square skillet so that it will sit flat on the glass top stove. And I wouldn't mind some advice on that as well. Okay. Rocket Caver. I see a new lamb mold. They're also great to defrost meat due to the properties of copper. I could have gotten a glass top stove, but heard they're not good for canning, so I went with an old spiral kind. Yes. No, glass top stoves work okay. They have electric coils underneath, and people who use cast iron on them will tell you that they work just fine. There are some caveats. Number one, of course, is you've got really got to be careful. Smash that glass top. And that could happen if you accidentally drop a cast iron pan on it. It's for that reason that when I went house hunting or apartment hunting, I always turned my nose up on a glass top stove for that reason. Maybe I'm biased like that. I use aluminum to thaw meat fast. It just has a way of pulling the cold temperature right out. Flat would probably be better for a beginner. Yes, that's what I'm thinking as well, Jerry 1952. Does a number 14 spinner lose a lot of value when it's BS&R? My friend wants to sell it for $75. A BS&R number 14 for $75, I think people would line up to grab that. You could probably sell a BS&R number 14 for anywhere from $100 to $125 without any difficulty at all, even if it's a spinner. Just tell them in advance it's a spinner. Stumpy, I've had 2 BS&R 14s. One is Stumpy that I've used all the time, and Stumpy is a spinner, and he still works just great. It really also depends on how bad of a spinner it is. If it just looks like it, just barely enough so that it spins, I don't think anybody's going to be concerned about it. If it really has a real wobble, if it's really badly warped, well, maybe 75 might be a good price for it. But yeah, I think you would really have to, demonstrate it. How about make a video of it and put it on your Facebook or on Instagram or something, and let folks in the cast iron community look at it, and they'll be able to judge. Okay, my BS&R 14 is a spinner. I won't sell it. It works too well for chickens and turkeys. Yes, it does. Hello from Oregon. Hello, Gary Fish. Good to see you, and good to see you too, and welcome to this channel. And now back to Corey Clark. I see a lamb mold. Oh, yes. I did post a short video about this. You remember about 2 months ago. I actually came across this item at my favorite flea market. And here it is. And I haven't done anything since I bought it yet. But yep, here it is. A new lamb mold. And it's not just a lamb mold. It's a Griswold lamb mold. And we know that, number one, because of the number on the model number on the bottom, but also number two, this one still came with the original paper of it. So yeah, Griswold. What does it say? Griswold pre-season rabbit and lamb molds. This one has somebody wrote in pencil $3.15. So maybe that's what it was selling for at the store, perhaps. For novelty baking. Here's how to prepare them for use and a few tested recipes. This is printed so small you need a magnifying glass to read it. But yeah, it mentions making a lamb cake, lamb or rabbit cakes, brown bunny cake, and a spice cake. And on the back is the Griswold line. So yeah, Erie, Pennsylvania, which means this was before 1957 or 1959. But yeah, this was one of those things when I came across this at the flea market, and it has a $60 price tag. That was when I succumbed to temptation and felt that I could really use this. One, because it was a Griswold, but number two, it has testing holes on the back. I have a lamb mold, as you know, and mine does not have testing molds. There are 3 of them here. That means I can actually test this with my cake tester to really be sure that the cake is done. Actually, there are 4 of them. Here's the 4th one right here. So that is definitely, it has an advantage over my other lamb mold. For that reason, I'm definitely going to be seasoning this up and using this. In fact, I've been thinking about this, and I think probably within the next month or so, soon enough so that you can get it as a Christmas present, I think I'm going to do a cast iron giveaway and give away my original lamb mold. Let me go and get that one, in fact, so you can see that. Yeah. Here it is. I might actually have to re-season this one as well. This one here is believed to be an unmarked Wagner lamb mold, and it works perfectly fine. I've used it a number of times already. It makes a really good lamb cake. The one thing it doesn't have are testing holes in the back. Actually, let me check one thing. Let me see which one is bigger. Let me try this. As a matter of fact, the Wagner lamb mold is a lot bigger than the Griswold lamb molds, considerably bigger. Here, let me show you how big it is. So there is a huge size difference with this. Wow, I didn't even realize that until just now. Okay, okay. One, I can make a bigger cake in the Wagner lamb mold. However, 2, as I mentioned, the Griswold lamb mold does have testing holes. This is really more of a toss-up than I thought. I think I might kind of lean towards the Griswold lamb mold for precisely that reason, because I think I could do more precise baking in this. But anyway, that's a lesson learned right there. Did you hear of a Lodge skillet that sits flat until it's hot, then it spins? Yes, I've actually had 1 or 2 of those. Not just from Lodge either. I had a BS&R number 12, in fact. It sat flat, but as soon as you heat it up, it definitely became a spinner. Spinners are unfortunately more common than we'd like them to be. But it does seem like almost every large pan, arguably most number 10s and just about every number 12 and number 14 out there seems to be a spinner. There are a few exceptions out there, but I personally have not seen them yet. So yeah, being a spinner is not impossible, is more common than we'd like. And yes, I have seen pans that do seem to become spinners or become more warped when you heat them up. Okay, what are the 3 pieces you use the most? Well, let me see. Hope your floor doesn't give out. Well, yeah, people have asked me that as well. Original tag. Glad you bought it. I succumbed to the iron forces. I thought those were steam holes. Never thought about using them to test the cake. You might be right about that as well, Kenrick. I won't disagree with you there. But yeah, war in Ukraine. Yeah, I know. The fact that the unmarked Wagner lamb mold is bigger than the Griswold, it is kind of giving me something of a toss-up. That's for sure. Okay, but well, I'll figure this out. However, anyway, what was I saying? What are the 3 pieces you use the most? Oh boy, hard to say. I would probably say, a number 8 cast iron skillet is definitely the number 1 piece that I use the most, and just about anyone would use the most, because I have several. Oh my God, I have 15 or 16 number 8 skillets, and I do try to rotate through them all. I can't really say which one of those I use more often than any other. Although I think a lot of times when I reach for a number 8 skillet, I probably end up reaching for this one. And I've shown this many times, and I've done many videos with this. My BS&R Red Mountain, my Red Mountain number 8. So this might be the one I use more than any other, although it's hard to say because I'm also kind of partial to Lightning, which is a number 7 BS&R skillet, a number 7 handwritten Red Mountain series. And again, those of you who know, I call this Lightning. First of all, it has these sand shifts, these casting flaws here, if I can get the lighting right on this, so that it looks like, it does actually look like cracks, but they're not cracks, and so they actually look like lightning. And just as important, this thing seems to cook like lightning. Whatever I cook in this, I seem to have done get done far faster even than other cast iron pans. Another pan that I use probably almost all the time is my wok. My large cast iron wok, which, oh good, it is still in the camera here. Again, I've used this many times, made all kinds of stir fries in it, and really, I still think that there's really nothing better for making that. So those are 2. Number 3 would probably be a Dutch oven. And here again, because I'm rotating through my collection, it's hard to say. Although I think I have a fondness for big Dutch ovens more than the smaller Dutch ovens. In that I have my Poikie here, the number 3 size Poikie, which is about 9 quarts or 8 liters in size. I also have a pair of large USA enamel Dutch ovens that I've had for less than a year, but I'm still doing everything that I can to get as much use of them out of it as possible. So I think those are 3 pans that I've used probably more than any others. All right. How old are those? She's a beauty. Which ones are those that you're referring to? I have the wok too. I love it. Yeah, exactly. The wok is so much. Can we see the big one in the back? Almost looks like a giant bean pot. I'm guessing you're referring to the cauldron here. Yeah, this one definitely catches everybody's eye, and it's kind of difficult to bring this one out. I would advise, look on my channel, and you will see a couple of videos of making jambalaya in that huge 15-gallon vintage cast iron cauldron. I also have another video there where I talk about cast iron cauldrons, and I do take a look and I do give you a look as well on that particular one. This one is probably one of the pride and joy pieces of my collection here, because not only because it's 15 gallons in size, but it actually has the manufacturer mark on it. It's from the Savory Company of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So, and from that, I can actually roughly date this to about the mid 19th century, or perhaps even earlier. And yeah, this is one of those ones that I certainly have no intention of selling. That's for sure. I've been told I'm making cornbread tomorrow. Okay, now to decide, number 7 or number 8 BS&R. I think I do better cornbread with a number 7 pan, quite frankly. Just the slightly smaller size, your typical batch of cornbread with just about any cornbread recipe that you can find these days. I think it seems to work a little better in a number 7, and I would advise giving it a try. In fact, my go-to cornbread pan is not even a BS&R. It is Lucky number 7, which is that's a 19th century gate mark skillet. And that one might even be the size of a number 6, but that's definitely the one that I go to when I want to make cornbread. So 15 gallons, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I've got a story behind that particular one that I told. Again, I made a video just a few months ago. Look on my channel. The title of this video was, I paid over $100 for these cast iron pans. Was it worth it? And the cauldron is in that one. It gives the story of what happened when I actually bought that particular pan, that cauldron there. Yeah, number 7 BS&R is the perfect pan. Yeah, exactly. I can only agree with you that. I got to get one of those cornbread triangle piece skillets. Oh yes, the cornbread skillets. I have a lot of fun using that as well. You can make some great cornbread in that particular pan, the cornbread skillet. You can also do some pretty good brownies in those. I've made cookies in those too. So it is kind of not exactly a unitasker, but I mean, it certainly does. It really is made for one thing, really making cornbread. And for that reason, I mean, I would, if you're still new to making cornbread, I would indeed advise using the number 7 size BS&R there. All right, I've been told, can we see the big one? Yeah, probably, maybe it can be done. Yeah, I have the wok too. I love it. Yes. I would actually manage to warp that large wok during my early days learning how to cook in cast iron, because I made the common mistake that a lot of people make when they're first starting out cooking in cast iron, namely that a lot of people, including myself, I would blast my stovetop at its highest heat, my electric stovetop no less, at its highest setting regularly. And that, over time, did tend to warp even that big, thick cast iron wok. All right. Dubsy upped and gave me a number 7 single notch lodge, and it's just about my fave. Well, congratulations on that, William Hurt. I mean, not just on having any single notch lodge, but especially a number 7, which is more unusual than a number 8. So definitely, the best I could say is get some use out of that. All right. So far, so good here. Oy, I didn't even consider that this Griswold is slightly smaller than the Wagner one. Well, okay, I will work this out. Do you fancy any of the Asian iron that you have found? Yes, I do, in fact. There are some Asian-made pieces in my collection. Number 1 of which is another huge cast iron Dutch oven. Over there in the back, behind this here, is a 4-gallon, 16-quart Dutch oven from Bayou Classic. It is indeed Asian-made. I got that in 2012, which means I've had it for 13 years now. And just like any huge cast iron pot, I've used it for making big things. I've made jambalaya in it. I've made seafood boils. I've actually used that for roasting turkeys as well. And yeah, I don't have any problem at all with using that. I mainly got that because I needed a huge cast iron pot in a very short period of time. And the simple fact is, those huge Asian made pots from like Bayou Classic or King Cooker or Cajun Classic, Lodge or any American manufacturer never made a pot in that size, never made a Dutch oven in that size. So if you want something really, really big, and you don't want to spend the rest of your life hunting through antique malls and maybe paying $1,000 for it, really about the only way to go for that is to go for an Asian-made Dutch oven. And as I said, I have no regrets from that. I enjoy using that Bayou Classic Dutch oven, and I do not regret getting it. So let me see. I do have a couple of other Asian-made pieces in my collection. One of which, in fact, is rather appropriate for Halloween. Okay, I mean, what's so special about this particular piece? I made a very short video about this particular piece. It is Asian made, yes, but I am struck by the fact that this seems to be exactly the same shape, complete with a very, very long handle, the same shape as the frying pan in Disney's Tangled. So I enjoyed the heck out of that movie, but I mean, this thing here really seems like it looks exactly like the Tangled frying pan. And so when I came across this, I really did have to get it just because I'm a fan of that movie. So yes, here is another Asian-made pan that I am actually quite glad to own. So, and I'm not ashamed to say it either. And yes, I have cooked with it too. All right. Also, this particular one, I call it the Tangled frying pan. It's about a number 7 size. It's not as big as a number 8 skillet. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Sorry about that. Anyway. So yeah, I do have some Asian-made pieces in my collection. And I am not ashamed of it. I have actually, for the past several years, been not exactly promoting Asian-made cast iron, but more like debunking the myths that Asian cast iron is contaminated with lead or chemicals, bad chemicals, that is, or they're made from uranium from China's nuclear reactors or other silly things like that. The fact is, whether or not you like Asian-made cast iron, they're still safe to cook with. So really, the big problem that of Asian-made cast iron is the politics more than the cast iron itself. And the politics is something that I generally don't argue about. Yeah, I know. I've argued about other kinds of politics, but I have not argued about politics of Asian-made cast iron, largely because it doesn't concern me. The way I look at it is this. If you come across a used Asian-made cast iron at a flea market or Goodwill or thrift store, anything like that, and you buy that used Asian-made cast iron pan, your money is not going to China. It's not going to the manufacturer of that cast iron pan. Your money is going to Goodwill or the yard sale that you bought it from or the like. So you're not making China rich by buying a used Asian-made cast iron pan. Yeah, but you could be buying a used American-made pan. Well, that's certainly true too, and I won't deny that. But if you have a reason to use one of those pans, and it's a good bargain and you don't mind getting it, maybe, for instance, you want to give it away as a Christmas present, for example. Or maybe it looks like the cast iron pan from Disney's Tangled. If you have a good reason for it and you feel you'll get some use out of it, then I would still advise getting an Asian-made cast iron pan. And even if some people get angry about that, that is my opinion. Do you fancy? Okay, it's about the lightest pan I've ever used. Okay, yeah. I love my Bayou Classic 16-inch pizza pan. Well, there you go, Warren, Ukraine. There's another example for you. How are you liking your Finex skillet? Oh, my Finex skillet. You mean the one that I've been using for the past 10 years? Actually, oh man, 11 years. The one that, even though it took me probably about 2 or 3 years to get a good seasoning on this, as you can see, I was finally able to do so. So now I do indeed have a first generation Finex cast iron skillet. And what's more, this is the first generation, the one that had the glass smooth surface on it too. So even though it took a long time to use, this is still my go-to. Wow, you can even see a reflection in this. You see the reflection of the camera. No, that's not the camera. That's that splotch again on the camera lens. But anyway, this is my go-to steak pan. I will probably reach for this Finex skillet when I want to cook a steak, simply because this thing is incredibly heavy. This thing is heavier and thicker than a Lodge cast iron skillet. And I feel that in that way, you're definitely going to get a good sear on a steak on this. So that is my biggest reason for using this Finex cast iron skillet. Ugh. Ding. Yeah, if I don't crack it on that lid there. Yeah. All right, they ring when you bump them. Yes, exactly. And since I'm such a klutz, that happens all the time. Grid 4124. I recently restored a vintage Korean skillet that had some beautiful swirls in it. I'm definitely keeping it. Oh, nice. I think I know what you're talking about, too. Yeah, those swirl marks are really something, aren't they? They're very attractive. And I would definitely say just that. Keep it and use it and have fun with it. No point in talking or arguing about politics because nothing will change from it. Both sides are crooked liars. Oh, yeah. That kind of politics. Well, yeah, that's certainly true. I have talked about politics recently, but I'm not going to be talking about it tonight, no. Even though last night was election day. Yesterday was election day, so. But I'm not going to talk about it because I don't feel it's really anything there worth talking about. When I get the urge to rant about politics, then I'll probably talk about it. But I don't feel like talking about it tonight. So, yeah, no, I'm not that obsessed with politics. All right, Finex is pretty iron. Yes, it is. Heck yes, very cool. I bought 2 number 8 Blacklock skillets for $14.99 each. Wow, that's a nice steal, Corey Clark. Did you get that at a yard sale or something like that? Because as you know, Lodge sells these Blacklock skillets for anywhere like from $60, $75. I'm not sure. I do have one myself as well. A cast iron, a Blacklock number 8. And in fact, when I had house guests up until recently, they used this one quite a bit, in fact. They really liked using this particular one. I think maybe because it's a little lighter than most cast iron pans. It's definitely thinner. And they did a really good job, too. They made pancakes and eggs in this quite regularly, even to the point where I might actually have to reseason this one. But it's still doing pretty good. Some folks have some complaints about the very wide extended handle here on a Blacklock skillet because they say it's not ergonomic. And they might have a point as well. I myself have not really had much of a problem with that. I think it's really on a case-by-case basis or how some people feel about it. But it's a nice shape. It's the shape of a chef skillet, and I definitely could say that this thing makes a great chef skillet, especially for making things like omelets and pancakes and eggs. And it's definitely a great breakfast skillet for that reason. TJ Maxx was selling it for $14.99. Holy cow. I can see why you got them then. Yeah, boy, that was certainly a steal. That was very interesting, too. I did not know that. that might be worth it to start looking in TJ Maxx if you really feel like you want to acquire one of those. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. All right. Anyway. So, well, like I said, I'm still open to questions, and please feel free to ask questions. I've been, again, busy for the past couple of months doing my, as I said, hosting house guests and otherwise keeping quite busy. I was lucky enough to experience a young lady's graduation from junior high. She is now a high schooler, so I can congratulate her on that. About a month or so ago, I baked a giant cookie as the 21st birthday present for my goddaughter. Oh yeah, that's the thing. I have a goddaughter now. She asked me to be her godfather probably about 2 to 3 months ago. So, and I was very flattered about that. And yeah, she's one of the people who has moved into that apartment with the glass stovetop. She already said that now that she's living on her own, she's going to be doing a lot more cooking because it's going to help save money. Yep, she's definitely learning, that's for sure. And actually just last week, I took her to a big thrift store around here to help stock her kitchen. She wanted to go to Walmart to get things like plates, silverware, and the like. And I told her, now the first thing we should do is go to a thrift store. And she went crazy there. So at a really, really low price, she was able to fill her drawer with silverware, and she found a nice set of plates too. And that's where I'm going to be probably presenting that Wagner skillet as soon as I clean that one up as well. All right. Gonna go start dinner in my unmarked Wagner number 10. Well, that's you can make just about anything in a number 10 size skillet. Rocket Caver, does the standard Lodge lid fit the Blacklock skillet? Yes, it does. And here it is, in fact. Here is the Blacklock skillet, and here is a Lodge skillet. Lodge lid, rather. And as you can see, well, you can see it kind of moves, but no, this thing fits really, really well. So yes, so the Blacklock is the same size as a Lodge number 8. And a Lodge lid will indeed fit on the Blacklock skillet. So that's also a good reason to get one if you want to. On the other hand, I will admit, probably this year or so, I've gotten the urge to get lids other than cast iron lids. Partly because I'm tired of the cast iron lids rusting when you make things with a lot of liquid. And for that reason, I finally decided to get myself a Lodge glass lid as well to use with some of my cooking. This one also fits nicely on the Blacklock skillet. Doesn't seem to be a perfect fit. That's interesting. On the other hand, let me do this. Let's bring out an actual Lodge number 8 skillet. This one is the Cracker Barrel American Seal skillet. And here's the Lodge glass lid. This one actually fits very nicely. So yeah, I'm actually happy about that. And I'm still on the hunt right now for a nice number 8 size all glass lid to fit on my pans. So especially so that I can use it for, well, cooking. What else? I was lucky enough, I do remember on a live video about a couple of months or so ago, I did mention that besides the fact that I have a BS&R Lady Best saucepan, I was lucky enough to find a Fire King glass lid that actually fits that one very nicely. It does move around, but the lid does actually cover it nicely. So I definitely can use this here for when I make, well, sauces and other things in this little saucepan. Yeah, as much as I like iron lids, and I'm still keeping mine, I'm not, there is the problem with it rusting. I won't deny that. On the other hand, I forget if I showed this one off as well in a recent live video or not. Speaking of iron lids, Here's one that I found on that Route 90 yard sale. Is it rusting already? Oh yeah, I don't think I've actually seasoned this one yet. I still have to actually season this. A BS&R knob lid, but it's definitely a BS&R, and you can tell from the dimples here on the inside. But this is one of the ones that they made for only a couple of years or so with a knob lid. BS&R collectors, at first, they used to say this was part of a special series of BS&R pans called the Pioneer Series. That's not correct. What actually happened, as we've since learned, was when they first started their automated production, they tried to save some money on the lids by producing these knob lids, which meant that the knob had to be made separately, and then a screw had to be added to actually added to the lid. This only lasted for a couple of years before they went back to making cast iron lids that were a single piece. So it's kind of a rarity in that reason, and that's one of the reasons why I felt I had to pick up this lid. But yeah, it looks like I do need to scrub this off and season it. Here's a comment. If your cast iron pans tend to pick up a little bit of surface rust like this one has, all you really need to do is give it a good scrubbing with maybe either steel wool or even a chainmail scrubber, and use Barkeeper's Friend. Barkeeper's Friend is a great rust remover, at least for surface rust like this. So that after only about a minute or so of scrubbing, that will be nice and shiny. At that point, then you just have to go through the seasoning process and give this a new round of seasoning, which is definitely what I'm going to be doing with this particular BS&R lid. As I mentioned, I did mention already, next week, yeah, okay, I can see I've been rambling on these subjects. Next week, I have a full week of vacation, and that's when I'm going to be spending a lot of time seasoning cast iron. Getting my collection up to date and cleaning out the lye tank, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. My kids love cast iron because they were raised with it, but not all kids will adapt to it. There is that. I will agree there, Jerry 1952. But hopefully my family will be able to use cast iron the way it's supposed to be. Those large glass lids are very nice. I have one that I use a lot more than the iron lid. Yeah, I mean, I have to admit it's convenient, isn't it? That number one, the fact that it won't rust and is very easy to wash off, and that's probably the biggest reason. I have to admit that, yes. Take your tape measure when you go to thrift stores. Yes, exactly, because those glass lids, I mean, they make so many of them from so many different makers that the glass lids can be only like maybe a fraction of an inch or less in varying in size. And it's entirely possible you could come across one that just does not fit quite right on your cast iron. So I agree with the whole point about the tape measure. Brendan McCollum. I recently acquired a Good Health number 7 skillet. I've read they were made by Griswold. What more do you know about them? Yes, they were made by Griswold. You got yourself a score there. That is definitely a Griswold. My understanding is the Good Health series was made around the same time as their Iron Mountain series. We're talking like the 1940s or so. And they were made to be sold at places like Sears, Roebuck, and other lower end retailers, which is why they did not have the famous Griswold logo on them, so that they could be sold at a lower price, even though they still have the same quality as a Griswold. And so that's why those antique vendors who know will definitely slap a huge price on them because it's actually Griswold. But it is actually Griswold in this case. So yes, I would say go ahead and you do what you want with that Good Health. But yes, I will definitely say you are cooking in a Griswold. Thank you so much for turning me on to Barkeepers. Oh yeah, I know Barkeeper's Friend. You might as well call it cast iron cook's friend. That is so massively useful because it is a great rust remover. It's also a great metal polisher. I use my barkeeper's friend really probably even more than scraping off rust. I use it mostly, I think, for polishing my knives and my silverware. Because I have several carbon steel knives, the kind that develop a patina. They get stained and they can rust. But using a good scrub with barkeeper's friend will take care of both of those and give your knives a good shine. And of course, it's safe to use in that obviously your knives are going to be touching food, but using barkeeper's friend on that won't be any problem at all. So definitely, I will recommend it. It's also a good polisher of my aluminum pots too. All right, good score, Grandin. Bass Pro Cabela's has iron lodge lids. Yes, they do. Yeah, I mean, Cabela's was bought out by Bass Pro several years ago, and I think that was then they stopped producing their own Cabela's line of cast iron. The Cabela's series, the one that had the Cabela's logo on it, were made by Camp Chef, which means that, yes, they were made in Asia, but Camp Chef is a very high quality modern day cast iron brand too. And if you use Camp Chef, more power to you. But as I said, they stopped doing that when Bass Pro bought them out. And my understanding is, like you said, Cabela's now only uses Lodge, just like Bass Pro, which is not a bad thing in itself. All right. Oh, wow. Once again, I've been talking all this time. I think we might be getting close to that time. But I feel like, we could go on for at least a few minutes more yet. Because, well, again, I mean, especially because it's been so long. I'm glad to see all you folks here again. And thank you very much for coming to my channel tonight as well, especially because I know it's been so long. And I hope I haven't interrupted somebody else's Cast Iron Wednesday video either. So, because I do know that there are a couple of other regulars who I haven't seen here tonight who have been really doing a great job building up their own cast iron channels as well. I heard that Cast Iron Cookware just passed 100,000 subscribers. Steve Strawn. And, well, again, congratulations to him. I'm happy for him. He's obviously he's obviously found an audience. And again, all I can say is more power to him for that. Glad to see you and everyone. And thank you very much as well, for M. Morris family. I do intend to really get back into some regular video production again because, well, number one, I missed doing this. And number two, I now seem to have the time to do it again. So, I'm looking forward to this. As I said, I've got a cookie to bake. A garbage cookie that I'll be able to present to my family. Oh, here's something. Just last night, I posted a video mentioning the Walmart cast iron skillets. Those little $5 stocking stuffer skillets are back at Walmart again. And I had to pick up 2 of them just so that I'll be able to try these out and see how good they are. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to use these so you don't have to. Here's what they have at Walmart for $5 this year. They still have the cookie skillet. As everybody knows, the cookie mix is terrible. I mean, they make it an edible cookie, but nothing compared to like a homemade cast iron cookie. On the other hand, this year they also have a cinnamon roll and a mac and cheese skillet. And looking this over, I find it interesting for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you are actually collecting these things, you should probably grab the cinnamon roll skillet because I do not think this cinnamon roll skillet is going to be reproduced next year at Walmart. Why not? Because it has, it is the same as those other cookie skillets. I mean, there's no denying that. It's using the same pan. The thing is that you have to provide a fair amount of your own ingredients for this, which means it'll probably taste good, but say if someone were to buy this for $5 and just throw it in as a stocking stuffer on Christmas morning. Hey, yeah, I got this. Let's make ourselves a cinnamon roll this morning. Then they look at the ingredients that you have to provide. These do not come in the package. You have to provide, you will need water, dried yeast, sugar for activating the yeast, melted butter, vegetable oil, icing sugar for the icing, melted butter, and vanilla extract and milk. Now, if anybody bakes on a regular basis, including myself, you have yeast and you have vanilla extract on hand, and that's not a problem. But a typical person who just received this as a novelty stocking stuffer, who probably has their freezer full of Walmart frozen burritos, what are the odds that somebody like that is going to have is going to have dried yeast and vanilla extract on hand? So maybe they might actually go out and get it, say, the next day or something to actually make this. However, I have a feeling that because you have to provide extra ingredients such as dried yeast and vanilla extract, a lot of people are never going to make this. They're going to get this on Christmas morning and they're just going to shove it on a shelf or something, and they're probably not even going to open it. Or maybe they're going to open it and then they find out they need to get those extra ingredients. Which means we'll be seeing I predict we'll be seeing this particular cinnamon roll skillet at flea markets and the like over the next year or so. Will they reproduce this again next year? Maybe, because as I said, I don't think it's as convenient as they thought it would be. And so I'm not sure if they're going to continue reproducing the cinnamon roll skillet for that reason. They're going to keep making those cookie skillets because they keep selling, but I'm not sure if the cinnamon roll skillet is going to sell. On the other hand, here's the other one. The mac and cheese skillet. By the way, both of these are $5 at Walmart. It's still $5. They have not raised the price. They raised the price a few years ago during the pandemic, then brought it back down again. The mac and cheese skillet. For this one, you will need 2 cups water, 1/4 cup milk, any topping of choice, vegetable oil, and that's it. Obviously, this probably comes with a typical pack of generic mac and cheese. You know, like you buy those boxes of Walmart brand mac and cheese for 50 cents. Well, now they're $1. But anyway, it's probably the same mac and cheese that you might get at an off-brand. It's not Kraft, which means it's easy enough to make. For that reason, maybe this one might be successful because you just make this the same way you make your regular mac and cheese. You boil it up with the mac and cheese, with the mac and cheese packet. Then you put it in the skillet and bake it. So this one might actually be a success. This one might actually be popular for that reason. And so, in fact, if you want to go and get one of these as a stocking stuffer and present to your relations, maybe people who don't cook on a regular basis, I would probably recommend getting the mac and cheese skillet because this is almost certain to taste better than the cookie. So this would probably be the one to present as a stocking stuffer. This one you would want to present for someone who regularly bakes and knows how to bake cinnamon rolls. And that's about all the comments I think I could say about these new Walmart skillets. Like I said, the cookie skillet is still there. So if you just want to get that cookie skillet from Walmart, you can do that as well. And once again, the Star Wars skillets are no longer there at Walmart. I haven't seen them for at least a couple of years, and they are still not there now. So it goes. But there's my little sermon on the Walmart $5 stocking stuffer skillets. Let me see some comments. Let me see if I ticked anyone off by saying all this. Okay, I bought homemade Aquarius. I bought several of those skillets in thrift stores. They are a fun little skillet. Yes, they are. I mean, they are actually fun to use. And for $5, especially these days, that's not so bad. Lodge makes black lock lids. Yeah, that's not surprising. I mean, after all, if you're a nerd like myself, you probably want to get a black lock skillet to go with your a black lock lid to go with your black lock skillet. Do you have a cast iron pie pan? Yes, I do. I have yes, I actually did get the Lodge cast iron pie pan when it came out a few years ago, and I have used it to make pies. It is a great pie pan. Of course, a cast iron pie pan is essentially a skillet. You can make a great pie in a cast iron skillet just as much as you can make it in a pie pan. But yes, I did come to temptation once again, and I did in fact get the the Lodge cast iron pie pan, and it is over there in my kitchen. And with Thanksgiving coming up, that means I'm going to be breaking it out so that I can make your usual apple pie and pumpkin pie. And I'm looking forward to that too. Hi, Fatty Meats. They will be in Goodwill for $20. What will be? Do you mean the cinnamon roll skillet? I wouldn't be surprised. They are the perfect size for making crepes. I have 2 of them. I guess you're talking about the cookie skillet. Well, in that case, congratulations. You've got a good use for them then. Would be fun to introduce grandkids to cooking with cast iron using the cute little skillets too. Oh yeah, that's probably the best reason to do that. I have gotten those tiny skillets and given them as gifts for kids. I have no idea if they actually kept using them after that, but yeah, it is a great stocking stuffer. And it is a lot of fun to give that as a present as well. I've actually considered recently, they're still selling those cookie skillets for $5 at Walmart. They now are selling a slightly larger cookie skillet, and the price on that has gone up from $10 to $15. But they have not raised the price of the $5 cookie skillet. I'm thinking it might be a loss leader. Anybody who knows marketing knows what a loss leader is. It's the same reason why you can go into Costco or BJ's and get a rotisserie chicken for only $5. They intentionally price it that low, even though they're actually losing money on it. And they do that to entice you to get into the store. Because once you're in the store to buy that $5 rotisserie chicken or that $5 Walmart cast iron skillet, you will be tempted to spend money on other things. And that's where they make their revenue back. I'm in Walmart and, hey, I need this and I need that and I need the other thing. Oh, yeah, and this $5 skillet as well. That's what a loss leader is. They lose money on it, but they gain it back but in revenue by when the customers buy other things. And for that reason, I'm thinking that's probably why that those $5 skillets are still $5 at Walmart. And hopefully they'll stay that way, especially with the way prices have been going up recently. Goodwill sucks for that. They get their stuff for free. Yes, exactly. Chicken pot pie video. It's been quite a while since I've made a chicken pot pie. That definitely sounds like a plan for next week, though. Not a bad one either. Maybe even when we do Cast Iron Wednesday next week. Because, yeah, I intend on getting this going again every Wednesday, if at all possible. Next week, in fact, is, November 12th, and it is somebody's birthday. And he might have to make himself some kind of a birthday, maybe a cake or maybe a pot pie, maybe even a turkey. But we'll find out then. However, now that I've been talking we are now getting close to 9:30 or so. Spiral potato fries. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. We really need to get on with that, don't we? How long have we been saying that? 2 or 3 years now? Okay. Yeah, I might actually do those spiral potatoes next week. However, until then, I think we've probably gone long enough because it's been an hour and a half now. I could see I'm definitely getting back into this because this hour and a half has really flown by. I've been talking and talking and talking as usual, but it's been a lot of fun. And definitely I missed doing this over the past couple of months. And yeah, I'm really glad to be back. And I'm really grateful to all of you who have been kind enough to show up here once again. Because, You are the reason why these live videos are a lot of fun. And I apologize again that I haven't had a chance to do this on Wednesdays for a while. So I really intend to get back to doing this on a regular basis, largely because, as I said, being here live with you folks is really a lot of fun. And I'm very, very grateful once again to all of you for being here. And thank you as well to Jerry in 1952. Radagast, my younger sister turns 74 November 12th. Congratulations. And she's your younger sister too. Wow. Nice. Spiral potatoes makes me think Val had tuned in. And war in Ukraine has been fun. Yes, RT Scott. And hello as well to Fatty Meats. And thank you to everybody for your kind words. Michael Marone or Maroney, checking in late. Good to see you. Well, thank you again for being here, Michael Marone or Maroney. Yes, thank you so much. Well, you didn't have to retract that, but thank you. Thank you for the kind words, and thank you for the kind words, everybody. So yes, I'm really glad to be able to have a chance to do this again. And I've got a lot of cooking planned because, hey, here we are. The holidays are here once again. We've passed Halloween. It's now time to start getting ready for Thanksgiving, which means you get ready for all of your usual cooking, and there's nothing wrong with that. The turkey. I've made a bunch of turkey videos. I've got to get another turkey video out. The turkey, the mac and cheese, the mashed potatoes, the green bean casserole, the apple pie, the pumpkin pie, everything that we love about Thanksgiving, and maybe even some things that some people don't like about Thanksgiving, but it's all here again, and it's all here for us to have fun. Because, why do this if it's not fun? Cooking is important. For some people, cooking is a chore, but really, it's a lot better when it's not a chore. And having something like cast iron, your favorite cast iron to cook in, helps it to be fun and not a chore. And having said that, I think we are just about all set at this point. So thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Hello, Granny Graham, and have a good night. And G as well, and William Hurt, and thank you, and glad. And yes, everybody else stay safe too. Yeah, we're getting into fruitcake season too. Can't forget that. In fact, here's a reminder as well for those of you who don't know. The weekend after Thanksgiving is Stir Up Sunday. And anybody who knows their tradition means Stir Up Sunday. It's time to start preparing the Christmas fruitcake. So there's something else to look forward to. A fruitcake that actually tastes good. And having said that, I think we are about done here. So thank you so much. And and hit like. Yes, thank you again. Thank you, Clico, as well for that. And exactly. So having said all that, it's about time to say a good evening to everybody. Get ready for bed because it's only Wednesday, and we'll get through the next week, and then, here we'll be again. So as I do like to say, see you next Wednesday.